like the drumstick. My favorite.
So our riddle today is, what is the safest occupation you can have if you land on an island of cannibals?
Tasers.
No,
And the answer is a clown.
Oh.
I was going to say that. I thought it was
Wait, but you
They won't eat clowns because they taste funny.
Hard. But it said you landed
Chuckle,
on the
chuckle,
island,
chuckle.
so you could just leave.
Wait, Goober. Better hurry up.
Ava.
If it's an island of cannibals, wouldn't it just be you with the face off of one person? Because these are cannibals, they'll all eat each other.
No, they go to other islands and capture people and eat them.
Why are we
Yeah, they just don't kill each other.
You literally landed there. You didn't even say that.
They
you
literally
got
teleport
stuck
from the
there.
sky, just like.
Wait, hold on.
It's a luxury island. Why are we talking about cannibals?
Because that was a joke of the day, Luke.
No, you just fell in
Ew, thanks, Captain.
Like you accidentally like fall through space.
It's nice that at least jokes can get you guys discussing stuff. Now, if only social studies could do that, then we'd be on the right page.
Well, they make jokes with social studies stuff. The pyramid, the Big Bang.
I have a lot of stuff to pass back. Some of it's religion, some of it's social. So you might have to come up here twice. Aaron, maybe. Maddie P. Mary E. Maddie T. Lucas. Matt. Brady. Cooper. Emily. Kennedy. Fred. Julie. Jax. Celine. Isaac. Cooper, I see you're not with me. Ellen. Ava.
Yeah, like Andor. That did not make sense.
Mia. Mary. Avery.
You probably got a
83 games.
Natalie.
Or maybe I forgot my name.
Aiden. Laura. Ellen.
I forgot to say middle. Wow. I said mid, not middle. Oh, never mind.
Jax.
Why is it better than my I got
Avery. Ellen. Cooper. Emily.
Same.
I know, man. Large family?
Wait, did you get the white
Avery, you're not with me.
9 out of 10.
Because you want your book in the booty drawer again, huh?
Who else got 83? We have an 83 game right here.
I don't really care about
83 game.
I don't know.
Make a good choice, so I don't have to make it for you.
83.
Yeah, I liked it too. I
read it.
I just like put my nose like this with
And I
everything.
also have like
Open your, take out your assignment.
the
Page 117.
Could you not turn it into you already?
Wait, what?
Page 117.
117. I already turned that into.
These are the people that already turned it in.
I have it right now.
Wait, I think. Oh yeah.
Maddie P.
No, I'm not going to. I'm right there too. Yeah, see it's right here.
Kennedy, Mary, Matt, Laura, Hayden, Cooper,
Here you go. Please don't.
Maddie T, Lucas, Isaac.
Mr. Hale, mine's under you.
Do I want it under me?
Well, I can't control it.
Like you can't control it.
Who does not have it done?
I do, but it's under them.
Wait, is it different?
This is the best call your name.
He said Mary.
I don't know what this is.
I just forgot to put M.
I forgot to do you and why one's the best.
If you don't have it done, go out in the hallway and get it done.
I'm mad.
Who's even in the 80s?
Everybody else, come and get your paper that I just read. Grady, Fred, Maddie P,
I just turned it.
Kennedy,
Gotta get it.
Mary Ann, Matt,
Oh no! Right? Yeah, it was mine.
I was doing some people on too.
Fred, Aiden, Cooper,
Oh, we're correct.
Maddie T, Lucas, Isaac.
Yeah, right where it hurts right
Wait, did you correct that?
where
No, we're correcting it now.
We're correcting it right now.
You should use. I was going to yellow too, but green. Like you. I'll use green too.
Some of the students here today seem to be suffering from that disease.
COVID?
It's called diarrhea of the mouth. It's constantly running your mouth.
It is? My mouth has legs.
It's called throwing up, not diarrhea.
Just have poop coming out of your mouth. No, just get stuck in your mouth. Oh, I don't like this conversation anymore.
No?
It's like building up.
That's what you
That's a jokingly way to say, please follow the 3-step process of listening. Especially step number 1.
Shut up. No diarrhea.
Yes, that too.
Because I've found that a cure for diarrhea of the mouth is taking recess time or keeping students after school. That seems to cure it.
Oh, after school. It just makes it worse.
So when your parents come around and say, Lucas and Cooper Smith, I'll say, sorry, Cooper's staying after school with me for a while.
Just Lucas Smith. So I'm gonna have another Hey, brother.
Now, the people that I didn't pass back, I need to see yours out. That was done. People that I didn't pass back. Okay, so number 1. Who wants to do that one? Read it and tell me yours. I don't know if we should be eating a snack like when you're going to lunch right in like 20 minutes.
Well, I'm different, so I'm hungry.
You're what?
20 minutes.
I'm hungry.
Turkey and gravy.
Okay, 40 minutes.
That's the restaurant.
No, right? It's the best.
What?
Turkey and gravy.
Emily, thank you for volunteering that you're with me.
Yes!
Wait, are we on number second article? A tribute such as the one above would have been written in honor of which Egyptian ruler? C?
No. Helen.
B. Ramses the Great.
Yes.
Yes.
2. Mary.
The Nile helped civilization develop Egypt and Nubia in all different ways except by, is it B?
Is Is it what? They're saying which is the one that didn't.
C.
You're trying to pick the one that didn't help. Did denial help farming to develop?
All the floods did.
Okay.
Is it D then?
It is D.
D?
I put C.
I put C too. C gang.
Number 3. Lucas.
The most fertile soil in Egypt was located in the Nile Delta. A.
Okay, correct. So number 1 should be B, number 2 should be D, and number 3 should be A. We're on number 4. Avery.
Which of the following statements about the relationship of Egypt and Kush is not true? D.
That is true. D is true.
D.
D is true.
D.
You're supposed to find the one that's not true. Matt?
C.
C is not true. So 4 should be C.
Oh.
Number 5. Aaron. Five is D, that's correct. And the last one, number 7.
We're on number 6.
Oh, okay, number 6. Who hasn't gone yet?
Is it D?
Read it.
Oh.
In this chapter, you learned about the hydroprocess, one of the world's first writing systems. And in chapter 3, we read about another ancient writing system called D.
Correct, cuneiform. Number 7. Mary.
In chapter 3, we read about Sargon the First, who first united Mesopotamia under one ruler, which Egyptian ruler accomplished were most similar to Sargon's.
C is many, correct. Now, if you have your name on it, give yourself a point. If you don't have your name on it, take off a point. There are 8 points possible.
Oh. What'd you get, Mary? Yeah, what? I got 5.
You're telling me your score. Celine.
5 out of
6 out of 8.
Aaron. There's only 8. So you got a 7 out of 8? Yuli, she's not here yet. Addie. Ava.
7 out of 8.
Kennedy. Mia.
7 out of 8.
Grady.
5.
Matt.
6.
Isaac. Oh no, Isaiah.
7.
Marianne.
7 out of 8.
Fred.
6.
Laura. Lucas.
7.
Maddie.
6.
Aiden.
5.
Isaac. Emily. Avery. There's 8. How many did you miss? How many did you miss? How many did you miss? On the 7 questions.
I missed 2.
2. Is your name on your paper?
Yeah.
Then you got a 6. Jack.
7 out of 8.
Cooper.
3 out of 8.
Mary.
5 out of 8.
Maddie.
7 out of 8.
Ellen.
6 out of 8.
So we're to our next cradle of civilization. Why do we call them cradles? That's where civilization started. What's our next cradle of civilization? No. Didn't you read? Didn't I assign any reading? These pages right here?
Yeah, it's India.
Did these pages have China on them? Well, maybe they did because they had the unit, maybe. Because this next unit. Oh, I assigned the wrong page. I assigned section 2. Not section 1. Well, well, no, I didn't. This is right. 124, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like this first picture.
So what did the first part of pages tell you? This is how our chapter is going to be broken up now as we go through the world. What's the first part tell us? Okay, from now on, let's just make this rule so everybody knows it. If you're reading in my class that isn't social studies, not only are you going to lose your book, you're getting a check. Automatic check. Are we clear? Raise your hand if you're with me. If you're reading in my class a book, in fact, don't even bring another book into my class. That tells me, you know what you're sending the message?
You don't like it. I don't
Mr.
care.
Hill, I'm not gonna.
You're boring, Mr. Hale. This book is a lot more interesting than you are. And that might be true, but you don't want to tell me that.
No, because that would make you sad.
Okay.
I can't really bear people being sad.
In fact, you don't want to tell any teacher that. 'Cause that's what? That would be rude. So here we have India.
No.
This is India today. When we talk about ancient India, we're really talking about what? We're really talking about what country today?
COVID-19.
Okay, we're really talking about Pakistan.
Wait, that was actually right.
Okay? Because Indian civilization began in what today is the country of Pakistan. Along what river?
I will sacrifice
You
my
can
life.
see it right here.
I would sacrifice my
Okay?
I will sacrifice my life for Pakistan.
This river is the Indus River.
India's.
And just like all these others, civilizations, they began along rivers. Why? What do rivers give you? Raise your hand. What do rivers give you?
Fertile soil? No.
They help bring fertile soil. That's true. Okay, you have a source of water for what? Drinking. What else? For cleaning. What else? To water your crops, which we call what? Irrigation.
For food.
What else does water help with? Transportation.
Fishing.
Fishing. So all those things, rivers help with. Do I have a, I think I have a worksheet for you, or a handout, right?
No.
Homework or for classwork?
Well, I don't have one with a map on it. Really, you guys, since you like to draw so much, draw a map. Draw a map of India. In your notes, draw a map in your notes.
No, please, no.
Because we want to talk about it.
Okay, is it like
So if I was gonna draw it,
Mine's gonna look like poop.
okay?
Wait,
Well, we could just trace it.
what's
If
the
I
page
was
that-
gonna draw a map of India, let's look over
I
here.
have to ask
What
Okay.
page would it be on?
So it looks something like this. Whoops, I made it too big.
It's India.
Everything's good. There's
Hey, Mr.
Asia.
Howell, your fridge, am I flying?
Okay,
Should we just trace it? Oh yeah,
then over
Here
here,
it is, I found it.
over here we have what?
the Thar Desert.
This river, which is called the what? This is the Indus River. This is where civilization first began. Today, this is Pakistan, we said. So if we look at the map of the world, over here,
I tried the map to copy it.
okay, here's a map of the world, here's Pakistan. This is where Indian civilization first began. But then it spread through all of India. Okay, so we're going to cover ancient India and the other parts of India. And then you have this other big river. This is the sacred river in India. What's this one called?
The Ganges.
You guys can look at your book and know these answers.
The Ganges.
The Ganges River. Now, India has been called a subcontinent. I could just roll right on here, couldn't I? Then I couldn't have a distorted map like I draw. Subcontinent. How come they call India a subcontinent? We know how many continents are there?
13.
There's 7 continents. Students seem to keep mixing this up. They get countries and continents mixed up. Countries are inside continents, with the exception of one. Which one?
Africa.
Australia. Australia is actually a continent and a country. It's the only one. All the other ones, okay, are countries inside continents. So the United States is a country on what continent? North America. Okay? Brazil is a country on South America. Ethiopia is a country
Asia.
in Africa. Okay? India is a country in Asia. There's one continent that doesn't have any countries.
Australia.
Australia is a country. Antarctica. Okay?
Go marry.
Antarctica is the only continent that doesn't have any countries. And then the other one, like France, is a country in Europe. So those are continents. But why do they call it a subcontinent? Even though officially India is part of what continent? Asia. But they call it a subcontinent.
Is it big enough to be a continent?
It's big enough to be a continent, and also it's geographically isolated.
What did that
What isolates it? Okay? What's over here?
Indian Ocean.
Okay, the Arabian Sea is over here. Okay? So we had the sea isolating here. Down here, we have more. This is the ocean. What?
Indian.
The Indian Ocean. And over here,
Bay of Bengal.
the Bay of Bengal. So it's surrounded by water on 3 sides. That means it's a what?
An island. Oh wait, Bay of.
It's another term you should know. You learned way back probably in 3rd grade. Any land that's surrounded by 3 sides by water is called this.
Oh. Asia.
Good job, guys.
So India is also a peninsula. But that's not the only thing that isolates it. Because up here,
Himalayas.
okay, You got the highest mountains in the world.
I was gonna say that.
And over here you got some more.
These big blades of grass.
These are called
The Hindu
the Himalayas, and these are called the Hindu Kush.
The Himalayas.
Now this is important. It's geographically isolated, so why would that be important? So if a civilization started there, what? They're less likely to happen what Egypt and Samaria did. What happened there? People were conquering and conquering back and forth all the time. You're not going to see as much conquering happening here because they're geographic. Although they're right up here, there's a little opening in these mountains. What's an opening in the mountains called?
Valley.
They call it a pass. The Khyber Pass is up here in the Hindu Kush Mountains. So even today, Pakistan, they put their military where? They put their military up here by this Khyber Pass. Because you don't need to be protected from the rest because it's what? It's mountainous. Okay? It's mountainous, difficulty to attack. But this is where they did attack and came through, and a group of people that eventually conquered the original people there. Now, who were the original people there? That's what you read about, right? The Aryans were the ones that came in and conquered. Harappans were there first. Really, this is just a name we've given. When we gave it a name for their city, they called it, guess what their city's called? Harappa. That's why they're called Harappans. Why some of you guys are called Rose Mountains. Or Eganite.
This is like
Or Lakevilleite.
I finished
Okay? So, how come we're given the names to them? We're going to find out this chapter is not as long as the chapter on Egypt.
I hope it's not.
Why would you think that?
Oh, no written records.
They got written records even.
I don't know, maybe because people didn't really care that much.
The Yeti from Monsters Inc. from the Himalayas.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay? We haven't translated their written records. We don't know what their written records say.
Oh, because they were in a different language.
We'd be the same. We'd be in the same boat with Egypt. If the guy that you guys didn't get on the test, nobody got him.
What? Egypt?
Jean Champollion.
Jean-Pierre.
He's a Frenchman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I totally would have guessed
Jean
that.
Champollion, who helped translate Egyptian hieroglyphics, so we know all about Egypt.
But no one gives
So
credit to them.
someday when one of you guys get involved and get up and you're studying languages and you decide and you decipher the code of the Harappans, you're going to make
Millions, tons of money.
megabucks. Just remember,
We're gonna give credit
Big
to
coins.
Mr. Hale.
That
Mr. Hill,
megabucks is
care of
probably gonna
St.
be-
Joseph's School, because I'll probably still be teaching here.
$500,000.
Megabucks is probably
That's only
what's
a
gonna.
credit in my paycheck.
No, megabucks is probably what's gonna be
I'll
called
have
in
one
the
of those
future.
little
I want
motor
2 million megabucks.
Yeah.
Then I can use the joystick.
Thank you, Mr.
Get the glass.
Mr. Hale's
Okay.
just still teaching.
Emily.
What?
I know. So, this is going to be important. So, all we know about them is based on what?
They're living.
They're monuments.
Structures and monuments.
What they left behind, which we call what?
Artifacts.
Artifacts. And the remains of themselves. So anthropologists, people that study people, and archaeologists who study the remains, they're giving us what they think is the picture of Harappan life based on what they have uncovered. And they uncovered two. One thing they found is that they were very organized because they had some amazing cities. And one of them they named Harappa. What's the other one they named?
Harumbas.
The other one they named Mohenjo-Daro.
Hobo Joe.
So both of those are the cities. And as we go through this, we're going to find, like your book shows all those arrows on this page. What are all these arrows for? Does the climate of India, what affected the climate, what affected the people in these regions? Okay? Or you should know this term too. So we learned a lot of terms now. Subcontinent. You guys have the definition for this? What did you write for a definition? Okay, a large landmass that's geographically isolated.
Okay.
Okay? A large landmass is geographically isolated. Peninsula is what?
Landmass that is surrounded by on three sides.
You got all these, Grady? You got all these terms? You know them?
Sure.
You should have them written down.
I don't know.
Wait, what was the past?
Hmm?
I was written down.
Right?
Wait, what?
On the back of your map.
Can you read the definition?
Subcontinent is a large landmass that is geographically isolated. A peninsula is a land
Surrounded by 3 bodies of water.
surrounded on 3 sides by water.
Can you read the definition
Harappans
on the board?
are who?
The original.
The original
The original people that were there. And their 2 cities are Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro.
Can you please read the definition on the board?
What do you want?
A large landmass.
A large landmass that is geographically isolated. It's geographically isolated.
Hold on, I just need you down because I can't see it.
Just like this
The world though.
What?
Okay.
What's the what?
It's the
Khyber Pass.
Kyber Christmas.
What did I do with my worksheets?
Can't wait to go for lunch because it's actually good today.
I can see
Be best Wait, what? That's just a waste.
Landmass surrounded by 3 bodies of water.
Not
city or was that like
One of the cities they uncovered. Yeah, the first city they uncovered, then they found Mohenjo-Daro. Yours is better than mine.
That too.
But I knew that you would use it.
Here's my map.
Mine looks like a seahorse. I have a better map. Looks like
India.
Mine looks like a seahorse.
Want to see mine? It's wonderful.
You people may sign up to the bathroom anytime you want, as long as no one else has signed up.
That looks like a drawing.
Yeah, I know. Without asking.
It looks like an old grandma.
But there has to be no one else.
Grandma, think you're
Mine's
a
seahorse. How about
But some of you, you need to make this distinction again. Am I going to wet my pants if I can't go? Because we have how long?
10 minutes.
We have like Well, 15
13 minutes.
minutes left. So when there are emergencies, yeah, that's when you should go, but you shouldn't go if it really isn't an emergency.
It's 18 minutes.
If you know you're going to be able to go right away. Okay? Now, look at this. We're looking at this side first. Let me see this side.
Yes.
So this is an actual building that they uncovered. It's a drawing of one.
Oh, cool, man.
And then they stuck in people and stuff.
People.
Okay, so this drawing shows what a house in a Harappan city may have looked like. Again, they say may have, again, because they're putting some of their own things in there.
Is there roof?
Okay?
Is there milk?
Now you read already, we should have read about their first cities. Okay? You should have read about that. From what I'm getting here, some of you didn't read this section. If I keep getting that, you know that requires me to do what?
Give you a test.
There's two ways of handling it. Okay? One, that's a way to handle it. We're going to have a quiz after every reading section. That's one way to do it. That's the easiest, quickest way for me to do it, although it takes up class time. The other way is, you notice that after each section, what?
You give a pop quiz.
There's five sets of questions, and within those five, there's usually A, B, and C on a lot of them. So there's there's 15 to 20 questions you could do after each reading section.
Why would they do that?
So we could do it that way too, or we could do it the way I prefer,
Just actually read it.
is you read it, and then when we have a discussion, you what?
Talk about it.
You contribute to the discussion, and you don't look at me with like a deer in the headlights look.
Dear, that's over.
What? Yeah, reading? 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 What?
Wait, what?
I'm in social studies?
Peter Rabbit.
I thought I was giving you away, man.
Okay. Okay, let's look at number one. What modern comforts in this home do you see?
Modern comfort. Well, I see a couch.
I see it.
Dang it, I couldn't say that.
Mia,
I see stairs and hammocks.
why do you consider those modern?
Because we still have them today.
I see
A
food.
stair is a comfort?
Yeah. Then you don't have to climb up ladders.
I'm still
I probably wouldn't consider those comforts. But
I see food.
I see some other things that I might consider a comfort, because if you don't have them,
I see a
it makes
couch.
life
I see a barrel.
more difficult.
Like stairs.
Oh, I see a couch.
Okay.
Food. For someone throwing up, whatever that is.
Matt,
Shower?
so you see a shower, a bathroom there.
I got
The guy pouring, he's got a servant there, and the servant's pouring the water over the top of him, and you notice where's the water going?
It's flowing out to the.
It's another thing that the other civilizations we studied didn't have. What do they got?
Showers. Bathtubs.
They got indoor plumbing.
Oh, that's nice.
You notice that there's a drain that's going what? Outside of the house.
Cool.
And it's going down into something in the street that's covered up.
Mr. Hill. Food. Is there food in there?
So in Egypt, if I wanted a bath, what? I had to go down to the Nile River.
Ooh.
What else do you see?
Huh.
Mary Elizabeth. So they have a wood oven. Or not, probably it's made it using wood, because we know they didn't have electricity or gas. Ancient civilizations hadn't developed that, so they burned wood to cook things. Why do you think they had them on the roof?
Because it's hot. So the smoke
Because India, we didn't talk about this, but India has what kind of climate?
Hot.
Hot and dry, so everything else will catch
Has
on.
a tropical moist climate. That means you can have heat, and a lot of people aren't bothered by heat, but when you add moisture to heat, it makes it a lot worse. So sometimes like summer days, when the humidity in Minnesota is really high, where you just walk outside and you start what?
Sweating.
You just start sweating by walking outside. Okay? That's the way it is in India all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
It's like a living sauna.
I'll be in the river.
So you can see why they would want to have. So that's, we're kind of answering number 3 here, right? How do they stay cool? Well, one, they cook on the roof. There's one other modern convenience that you might take for granted. It's kind of hard to see.
I got it.
I'm looking on the side there that the other ones didn't have, the other places. On the side,
The side door.
sitting on the street there.
Barrel.
There's a barrel there, and there's a what?
Is it a garbage?
There's a chute that dumps right into the garbage.
It's a bathroom.
Okay? Not a bathroom, okay?
Garbage.
So,
Garbage.
so you just pour it through the chute. You know, a lot of apartment buildings,
Yeah, they have those.
okay? Some apartment buildings have these huge chutes that come down, or for sure when they're cleaning them or remodeling them. Okay? You just pour it down there and it goes all the way to the bottom. Okay? So the second story house here, there's probably an opening even on the roof that they could, if there was garbage from food they cooked, they could just put it down there. So we have a bath, we have indoor plumbing, and we have a garbage chute, are 3 modern comforts that I see. Okay? Most of us wouldn't like cooking over a wood fire
I would.
for your
I would
entire,
fun.
for your entire life. It's fun to do it once in a while for camping, right?
Can I tell you this?
But what are you waiting for all the time?
Cooking over fire.
You're not only just waiting for the fire to start, because you can't cook when you start the fire. You have to wait till what?
It's
Till you get coals. It's the coals that actually are the heat for a fire.
Oh, no.
That's why those people that grill using charcoals,
Because it helps
okay, you gotta start those charcoals what?
to get heat.
At least 15, 20, half an hour before you plan on cooking. And then it's also harder to control what?
Where it goes.
How hot it goes. See, we take that for granted. Number 2, the walls were made of thick bricks and had no windows, which helped keep the house cool. Keeping this in mind, why do you think the house was built around an open courtyard?
I don't know. Maybe because it's cool.
So that means like there'd be a house here, house here, house here, house here, house here, and out here it's what?
Courtyard.
It's open, okay?
Like an inn.
It's like a park or
Oh,
a
like
patio.
with fountains in the middle, right?
Why would they do that?
To build a well.
You might dig a well in there, but
That's what they have. Wait, no, I don't.
no, they're showing, that's a cutout. They're not showing you the courtyard in this picture. This is only one house. The courtyard would be shared by a lot of houses. Well, the biggest thing is the heat. So you can get air moving back and forth.
To get in.
Okay. So you can get the air moving to keep it cool. So that's what you would put. Why do you think the house was built around to keep cool, keep air moving? And then the last one, we gave you one of them, means of staying cool. They cook on the roof. What else? Somebody mentioned this, but what's the other thing?
They have like canopy, like
They have canopies. What else? That would help you to stay cool. Some of you might do this in the summertime.
Go swimming.
Lay on the floor.
there's like
We probably wouldn't, because you all have central air conditioning.
there's like shade on
Somebody said they got a hammock. What's that hammock doing there?
Going back and forth.
That's the bed.
That's right. You can sleep on the roof.
Daddy's so much fun. We sleep on
There are many countries today that still use hammocks to sleep in.
Oh,
I know it's really bad.
I thought they needed
To get used to it. My daughter and I went down the St. Croix River in a kayak, and she slept in a hammock one night. I tried to scare her, saying the raccoon was going to come down and grab her, but so she didn't sleep so good.
So just take her hammock and just sleep.
That meant I got the whole tent to myself, though. Okay, let's look on the other side.
Is your hair for the modern
If you think you know an answer you could help somebody else out with.
I've answered.
Raise your hand if you think you have an answer you can help somebody out with. Mia.
One artisans.
Okay, it's pronounced it artisans. Some of you aren't with us because you'd have that answer free. Some of you didn't put these other answers down. Are you with us, Isaac? What answer should you just give us? And what is the answer for? Because you're not with us. Where are we at?
Number one.
We're on the other side of the paper. I'm trying to save you some what?
Time.
Homework.
Hello.
So whatever you don't get done, guess what?
Homework.
It's homework. Let's skip down to the bottom.
Okay.
Experts are not sure why the Harappan civilization ended. In other words, there's no evidence after this time period of Harappan descendants.
Like war?
They don't know what happened to them.
Oh.
Okay? So that group that I said came through the Khyber, they came much later after the Harappans were gone.
Did the Harappans move?
So
Got heat stroke.
they gave a description in the section of why some of the theories. One was, yeah, invaders came in, not the ones that I talked about. But that's one theory. Again, we don't know why.
Because they went records.
There's no written records about it.
They went up in the mountains and died.
Well, they
Somebody might have left written records and said, we're
We're under
being
attack.
invaded. The people are taking us over.
We're
They
dead.
might, then we'd know for sure what happened, right?
Yeah, but we don't know what happened.
What's the other theory?
They got heat stroke.
They moved.
They finished.
Well, if they move, then there's this, as advanced they were, would have showed up where? Where they moved to.
Yeah, but
So I suppose it could have, and it's just buried and we haven't found it yet. So possibly,
I know. They so basically they were done with the war, and there were just a couple survivors left, and they didn't know what to do with the whole country and stuff. Like they didn't.
well,
know
that
what
would
to
be
do.
the invading thing, though.
Yeah,
You're having
I
a
know.
war, that's invading.
But then
So we're
they
trying to
went-
think of what's another, what would be another reason a civilization disappears?
They went up the mountain and then passed away.
It had a plague.
Ow!
Okay, it had a plague. That's one. Okay, what else?
It could have been a big flood.
Okay, some kind of natural disaster, a flood or an earthquake. That's a problem with India. We said their climate's tropical moist, but it's very much influenced by this term. Okay, monsoons. And basically, a monsoon is just a what? It's just a wind. It's a periodic wind. And they got two types of monsoons. They have wet monsoons that come from what? This way. And they got dry monsoons that are coming from this way. Now, if the wet monsoons don't come, what happens to India?
They dry out.
Their crops can't grow because the rivers dry up.
Oh, maybe one of the
And they
rivers
starve.
are clogged.
Okay? If they come too strong, what happens?
Everything dies.
You got flooding, and then the water's not safe to drink, the plants die.
Maybe that's what happened. It's like the river
So they're very dependent on the monsoons coming at the right time with the right amount of moisture with them. So it could have been that. It could have been the fact that, well, maybe the monsoons didn't come. It could have been the fact that they had an earthquake. Or the monsoons came too fast and it just flooded out their civilization. Because again, all that we have left are what are the things they left behind. I wanted to watch a video. I'll tell you what. Take out your planner.
Nuh-uh. Your math cannot be better than
What's the first thing we pledge every day?
mine.
Not be boastful.
To the flag.
I want you to read to page 135. We're going to talk about the groups that conquered them and then the religions they set up. So read. You didn't read this, so I'm just going to put another up here because some of you didn't do this. I want you to finish this sheet. And I want you to take 3 notes from this reading. When is this due? Monday.
Oh, I just.
Everybody understand that assignment?
Yes.
Where are the notes coming from? The new reading. Not the ones we just read.
135.
We got time to do one more free answer here. Who's got a free answer you can help everybody with? Mia. 7 monsoons. We talked about that. Okay. One more. One more. Who has another free one? Lucas.
Number 6, inscriptions.
Number 6, inscriptions. So you only have 4 to do. 4 to do and 3 notes. Got it?